about it. The worst hiring mistake you ever made, where you weren't using your intuition, perhaps.
Yeah, so talking about it actually isn't a problem now. I wrote a book about it, which I'm sure we'll mention later on. But I think the worst hiring decision, well, it really was a period of time in which I was doing everything but ignoring my business intuition. The general answer, and I'll get into specifics, that's where the juicy details are, is that I was a man who was always looking for an answer in somebody else. And I let that guide a lot of my hiring decisions for many years. I was always looking to find the expert and find the person that had the right answers to help solve my problems. What ended up happening out of that was I found and I brought in people who, most of which weren't necessarily like bad people, but we were setting everyone up for failure because I had such high expectations on them to perform and to succeed that it was an impossible game to win. And so then I would get frustrated. I would be resentful. And at the time, I lacked the leadership and communication skills to do the unthinkable and actually talk to them directly about their problems, which oh my gosh, it's like a revelation nowadays. And so this ultimately led to one person in particular that it was a very destructive path that I went down. I was heavily involved in alcohol. I am an alcoholic. I've been sober for 4 years now, but
High five.
All right.
Yeah.
But you mix alcohol, you mix drugs, you mix isolation and stress and depression. And one person in particular that I worked with we had an affair, and it was the mistake of my life, the pit that I will never be any lower than at that point. But it was ultimately a huge wake-up call for me on like about 10 different levels on how I needed to change and what needed to change in my life so that I literally could live. Because I was most certainly on a path that would have resulted in my death, whether it was immediately or at the age of 50 of a heart attack because of unhealthy habits and a lifestyle over a few decades.